Welcome back to IAM ThinkTank, a podcast dedicated to exploring the ever-evolving landscape of identity and access management. I'm your host, Dhruv Dave, and our guest today is Avneesh C, an IAM expert and a deep geek in all things IAM.
Thank you, Dhruv.
So, Avnish, I want to talk to you about DeFi or decentralized finance platforms, which are rapidly getting adopted by multiple platforms. And with the rapid growth also comes the security concerns with respect to them. Can you, give us an idea of the current state of exploits against these kind of platforms and what are the
Surely, Dhruv. And first of all, thank you very much for having me on your podcast. Uh, uh, Coming back to your question, basically, the sort of exploit and what is the current state of the exploits that are happening at industry level. So I'll go back to one of the reports that was published earlier this year in February 2024 by Gartner, which basically predict that 90% of the breaches that we will see in the decentralized financial system will be because of the vulnerability present in the financial system itself, not because some attacker is able to, break the system.
Okay.
So these decentralized financial systems basically works on smart contracts, which is nothing but a self-executing program. And these vulnerabilities most of the time is present into these programs. Okay. Apart from that, another kind of vulnerability that we see is the compromised wallet logins. So
Okay.
in this case, right, most of the time user happens to lose entire fund available into their wallets. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's an alarming report, so to speak, right? That 90% of the exploits will be for this kind of platform. So, can you give us some ideas of some default or common kind of exploits against this kind of platforms?
So I'll just start with giving you some news which I have been to come across today itself, and it is about one of the DeFi platform, which is one of the biggest in the country. Okay, has happened to lost some of the private keys, and then they have lost around $250 million
Wow.
of cryptocurrency so far.
Oh.
So this is one of the example why we need to keep our private keys secure. Apart from that, there is another type of attack which basically attacker employs every now and then. They usually manipulate the market by simply borrowing the large sum of cryptocurrency from the market itself, and then manipulating the assets prices, selling those assets and booking the profit and then repaying the loan. So basically, yeah,
it's kind of a bump and dump kind of scheme.
So this is another type of attack that we are seeing.
Okay.
Apart from that, there are many other vulnerabilities that are present in the system which can easily be addressed if we follow certain industry standard.
Okay.
Okay, and follow some certified IAM implementation for those things. Yeah, so we can actually address these vulnerabilities straight away.
Okay, so it seems that the traditional IAM solutions might not be sufficient for this kind of new type of vulnerabilities and tactics that we are looking at.
I partially agree with you, but traditional IAM system still contains certain concepts which are still relevant today as well. In the yeah.
So in that case, right, can you elaborate like what would be the role that IAM solution will be playing in securing this DeFi platforms?
So as I said, right, certain IAM concept are still relevant, which is like dynamic policy evaluation, dynamically analyzing users' behavior and then prompting or challenging user for additional authentication. Okay, so some of these concepts are still available in the IAM. Okay, so basically we call them adaptive risk behavior. Okay, and behavioral biometrics, implementing multi-factor authentication. So I'll just give you some stats, right? If you employ multi-factor authentication during login itself, there is a possibility that you may end up securing your wallet from brute force attack. Okay, so this is one example. Apart from that, adaptive access policies that we define in any IAM system, which always determine your basically behavior based on the input, which is basically dynamically
Can you
determined.
give us an example of that?
Okay, for example, if user is every day is logged in from one location and suddenly it has changed from one location to another, he is moving across the city or somewhere else,
Okay.
then my system will detect that users has the user's login pattern has changed, right?
The behavior has
Yes,
changed.
yeah,
Okay.
So based on that, they can prompt user for certain additional authentication. Okay, so this way users can basically we deny that users' credentials are basically compromised.
Any other such examples, like what all other attributes that you
So
you
for
can
example,
track?
we can do the device profiling as well. And for example, if user happens to change the device, right? For example, user was logged in on device A for a longer period of time. Suddenly they changed and login is coming from a new device. We will block certain activities on the user profile level that we will not allow them. We will not allow the user to perform certain access. All these things basically works based on user activity. We can define users risk profile in IAM. Okay, and IAM, based on that, IAM can determine what sort of authentication method, what sort of access should be granted to the user to perform any activity in their account.
Okay, interesting. So it seems that the IAM solution is still
still
very,
relevant,
very
yes.
relevant
Yes.
to securing the DeFi platforms. Switching the topic, in terms of quantum computing, right? And the scare that is there, that the current cryptographic algorithms might not be sufficient, and it at risk to the DeFi systems. Can you give us an idea how we can address that?
Risk that you are highlighting, right? This risk is still relevant, not just for the. I mean, this risk is not just for the decentralized financial system or any specific system, but it is a risk which is coming for entire cybersecurity industry, and everyone should be prepared for uh, to use quantum resistant and algorithms. Okay, so there has been development, and a rapid development, I would say, to develop certain algorithm which is still not breakable using quantum computing. Apart from that, there are still legacy algorithms which are also available. What this threat means that we should not avoid using weaker algorithm in our implementation. So this kind of compliance already comes out of the box with any IAM system. Okay, so if you are implementing IAM systems, it can force you to use certain standard algorithm which is still not breakable by our current computing capacity.
Okay. So I mean, but if you that's a very wise advice. But if you look at it, the rapid development and deployment of DeFi systems, right? How would the development team, operations team, will be able to address both the rapid development and deployment and the security concerns that we have?
So I see two questions here, right? It's not just the development or deployment teams who are involved at the low-level implementation of these evolving ideas, but along with that, I think we need to educate developers. Along with developers, we need to educate the who are controlling those ideas. To be frank, right? So any idea which is fascinating like anything, it still cannot compromise the security.
Okay.
Right. That's what my point is here. That irrespective of the viability of the idea, I would not compromise my security, especially in the financial world. I will ensure that the users' credentials, users' logins are still secured. Users' identity is thoroughly secured, right? So, having said that, right, still, if I look it from that developer's point of view, right, I would still not consider these things like security and all. But somewhere down the line, right, we must educate our developers to have that sense of security being inbuilt in our development practices. Apart from that, we also need to educate those idea owners or business owners so that they don't push beyond certain reasoning. Okay, so that we do not bypass the security checks like or code auditing. Okay, and certain standard DevSec practices, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because this DeFi platforms, majority of them are open source, right? So what role do you see the community plays in securing or advancing the security concerns, addressing those security concerns?
I think there are two roles that community, two sort of users I see in the community. One is the developers community, another one is the user community. Okay, so when I see from the developers point of view, uh, uh, these DeFi platform owners basically, or DeFi exchange platforms
All
basically
the
run
contributors.
all the executors can run a bounty programs where they can reward the developers for identifying certain vulnerabilities, bugs in their system. This will help developers as well as platform to identify all the vulnerabilities at the early stage.
Okay.
Okay. Apart from that, the second type of user are the consumers basically. Okay. So they should be aware about the actions and the DeFi platform that they are using. They should be aware of the fact that what sort of compliance that their DeFi platform are using, what sort of implementation they have. Are they having any certified IAM system involved in their system? So yeah, so this way we can ensure that they are vigilant while choosing a DeFi platform for their trading purpose.
Thank you, Avneesh. This has been a fascinating discussion. So, listeners, it seems like securing a DeFi platform will require a multi-pronged approach, starting with harnessing the capabilities of existing IAM solutions, fostering security culture in the community, as well as addressing the vulnerabilities available in the smart contracts already. I'm sure we're going to keep our listeners up to date with all the upcoming developments in this dynamic space. Thank you for listening or joining to IAM Think Tank podcast. I'm your host, Dhruv Dave. Until next time.
Thank you.